That's true.
Great.
That's great.
Welcome to
Dictation
with your wonderful host, Aaron Wiggin.
Sarah Ahiran.
And Cameron Gamron.
Where did Cameron Gonzalez go?
Or Gonzalez, if you prefer.
I hate it all. Welcome, guys, to episode 5. Cinco. Sang, if you speak French. Sang with a Q.
Really?
Yeah, C-I-N-Q.
We're in America.
Oh, ew. Wow.
We're in America. Get out of here with this French bullshit.
Okay.
We're in America right now.
Wow.
Taking it back home.
Well, a lot of our states, I'm just gonna say. Anyways,
Okay.
so this week, I guess I'll start.
Please.
Alright, my topics this week, I decided to go a little bit lighter because the past couple episodes have been pretty heavy.
Yeah, the last one was super dark.
Yeah.
Pretty thick. So,
Two C's.
now I'm going to start off with my not as light, because I actually have like a really good light articles
Wholesome.
preview that I think I want to end off on. So let's start this off. First topic of the day. So Sony Music admitted that in the recent Michael Jackson album that was released in 2010, that they actually had an imposter sing.
Well, okay, so we were reading about this in the car.
That was going to be one of my topics.
Well,
So
don't
now-
admit that.
Too bad.
You just play off it.
No, it's okay.
This
I'll-
is theater.
Wait, did
We
you write
can
it in
move
the
on.
group?
No, I didn't.
No.
That's the thing.
Because she was lazy.
Because I was lazy. as
But
fuck.
we were looking at this article in the car, and
Yeah.
so Sony's in a position now that's like,
Yeah.
what is it that they're like?
Yeah, let's explain it first so the people at home know what we're talking about.
Did they admit, or are they trying to
Well, see-
testify against that they didn't admit?
First, what happened was, at least according to this article that I'm reading from, they initially were like going to fight against it, and then against the allegations that were brought up against them.
Yeah.
And then like when they were in court, I guess the judge like overruled, was like, nah, like we're gonna go with this. And long story short, they ended up admitting to the court that they had had an imposter actually sing the songs. But now I guess they're trying to deny admitting that they had.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation, and it's just like, okay.
Well, I think just somebody reported that they admitted that they had an imposter sing on 3 songs, and then they were like, no, that never happened. Like, we didn't admit. But they're not saying that they're not outright denying that they had an imposter sing on those songs. They're just saying we didn't admit it in court, which doesn't.
In court?
Yeah.
Didn't admit it in court.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, true. I mean, at least according to it says
important
that
to
they
say.
recently admitted in court. That's why I said that. So
Well, it's somebody got their. I mean, I don't know.
they someone probably, it's one of those he said she said type situations, probably, where it's just like,
Yeah.
you said that, and it's like, but
I mean,
Have you listened to the Michael album? We didn't get to listen to
Yeah,
it.
we-
I didn't listen. I mean, listened. When I listened to Michael, I kind of just have myself in shuffle because all of his stuff to me is just like.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a favorite Michael song. So sometimes when I'm on Spotify, I literally just let it go. So I don't know. I probably have,
Yeah.
and I just didn't realize.
There's apparently 3 songs that people are criticizing that are, and are those his only 3 posthumous songs?
No, it's a whole album, but it's those 3 from the album.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Breaking News, Keeping Your Head Up, and Monster, which features 50 Cent, which, okay, Michael.
Well, or not, Michael.
Or not Michael.
Could not be
Dun,
Michael.
dun, dun. Yeah, so, I don't know. I just thought, to me, when reading this article, it was like, this situation's weird. This is just like...
I feel like every legal situation with Michael Jackson is just the weirdest thing.
Didn't we just talk about... Or,
Yes.
We
talked
were
about
talking about
Sony
Michael Jackson.
Because
yeah.
I was
a
talking
couple
about
episodes ago.
the guy that pees on 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it was before that we brought up.
I'm pretty
we
sure
brought
we
up
had-
Sony as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sony's
fucking
look,
weird.
They
man.
must sponsor. Well, don't.
No.
Can you imagine as a company being in a position? You're in a position that's like, I now either have to try to deny as hard as I can that I faked an artist, or just admit to faking one of the biggest artists
Yeah.
in the entire world.
The king.
This is going to turn
king
into
of
another
pop.
Monica Lewinsky. I did not.
But
I
who's
did
gonna
not
say
have.
it? Who's gonna say it? Michael dead. Like,
Oh.
I mean, what the president of Sony's gonna talk about? I mean, it's important because, like, but I just feel like everything that Michael Jackson has been in and continues to be in post his death is like it's a mystery. Is a he said she said kind of situation.
Because he's dead. Like, there's no one to be accountable.
That's a problem. It's sort of a problem with Prince too. Like all these like really big artists, like when they pass away,
Like
it's
Aretha recently. Ooh,
Yes.
that one hit home.
Ooh, I could talk about that. Aretha Franklin.
I was listening to the Aretha Franklin Essentials album on iTunes, and it was like, oh, some good shit on there, man. And it ranges from like that like heroic, like gospel-y kind of like just that really cool stuff to like the really smooth R&B stuff. Like she did it all. She was such like a crazy, like she could do any genre and kill it.
And the vocals.
Yeah, she was so good, man.
And there's just, oh, sorry to cut you off, but
No,
there's
you're
just
fine.
such a nostalgia that comes from artists in that time, like Michael, Prince, and Aretha, where it's just like
They just had it down.
Right, they
were
were
so
literally
good.
the experts in their field, and I just feel like now, I feel like everyone's an expert. Because you know, I feel like at least with music nowadays, everyone has their own interpretation. There was interpretation before, but now it's like because there's so many artists and so many genres that
I feel like as technology like continues to develop, like we have a lot of help as musicians.
correct.
Like we don't need to be that on top of it, you know, which means we don't need to be like pushing ourselves. So like the type of person that is like, well, I'll do whatever I need to do to get the job done needs to do less work
than them before.
than Aretha Franklin or Michael Jackson, you know. But they're also like workhorses, like, you know, they were ambitious people.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. You don't see those kind of stars now.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
I heard somewhere that somebody said Justin Bieber is the Michael Jackson of this era.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that, and then
Yeah.
like they took it back because everybody was
Really?
like, "Oh,
Excuse you.
I'm sorry. I meant Justin Timberlake. I'm sorry.
No worse.
oh yeah, no." And then
I
like
don't think so.
everybody had like this person is the new Michael Jackson. It's like no, Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson
Justin
still
Bieber
is the
Justin
Michael
Yeah.
Jackson.
Bieber.
Yeah, he's still.
He is the past Michael Jackson and the new Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He is
Right.
the Michael Jackson.
He will be
Yeah.
forever Michael. And everybody is their own person. I think what at least there's, especially with like social media and like just our culture nowadays, is like everyone's trying to outdo the other person,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
all a
why
competition, man. It's like,
which sucks because it's just like why can't everybody just be good?
like I hate conflict. Just stop it.
This
You're all
is
making
why-
me really anxious. No, I'm
This
joking,
is
but-
why I wanted to start this podcast, so we all sit around and we're like, music is competitive. It's like, oh, why?
Speaking of competition, didn't you both just get seats at
We're at
UCF?
UCF.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you had a seat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
We both kind of already had, like, he sort of said that we were both in anyway
right,
at UCF.
right. Well, I already played with UCF before. And
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
I don't know.
I just thought about that. Like I was just like, oh, are we supposed to say their name?
Yeah.
A school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good experience. I like playing with this particular school and working with this particular director because
Yeah.
I feel like he's. Shout out Dr. Park. I don't
cool to have him on
know.
the
The short
podcast.
amount of time that I've known him, I feel like
He's
I
very,
have a new drive.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I want to better myself.
He's very inspirational. He's very, like, the first day he was like, I don't want to just make you good musicians. I want to make you better people. Is what he said. And I was like, fuck.
It's like I don't know. It's just
Damn.
like you sit there and he's kind of. I don't want to say like he's kind of like Yoda.
Yeah.
Which is like
He's a
there's
little
like this.
like Yoda.
There's like this level of like
Mm-hmm.
intellect and just he has this personality that's just like, wow, like the whole
It was
avocado. I
also
can't
really
get over
funny.
the avocado.
The avocado joke. I told him the avocado joke.
Literally, best thing I've heard in my entire
So
life.
funny.
I'm like, yeah.
It has not failed to get a laugh from everybody I've told the story to. It makes the whole room laugh.
Oh my god. But
yeah.
how do we get on this topic? Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
seats. So yeah, that was a good experience.
It was the worst audition I've ever done in my entire life.
I think it. I don't.
No,
want to be shady.
it was.
No.
For me.
For you, I was gonna say this audition was better for me just
Then-
because I had already worked.
Yes, you were
with him,
probably
so I was more
not
comfortable.
nervous. I was
For
very,
you-
extremely nervous.
Trust me, my first audition was like,
Mm.
I was like, oh great, I didn't make it. He was like, see you tomorrow. I'm like,
Yeah, I was just like, it's...
felt like the whole
Bitch, why?
the SpongeBob meme. I'm like,
I almost cried. I was like, thank you. I was like, as he was like, yeah, see you tomorrow night. And I was like, thanks so much. And I just ran out the room crying.
I was worried because your audition took a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Really? It's because I played everything really slow and not right. And like stopping. And like, it was just awful. It was not good. And
But you did it, so high
But I-
fives all around. She
Thank you.
gave me the backhand.
yes, I
Yeah,
do that to
'cause she's-
everybody.
Oh my
Backhanded.
god.
Her-
Because I'm a backhand
Yeah.
person.
I'm
Gotta
not-
work for that respect for a regular high five from Sarah.
Oh,
Even though I do shitty auditions. but yeah, no, it was good. It was a good experience.
yeah.
I'm still alive. You know, it's the weird thing about auditions where
Unlike
it's like,
Michael. Ooh.
whew.
I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah,
That's not
he's dead.
insensitive.
It's
He's
not
dead.
insensitive. He's
I
dead.
was trying to bring it back to being a good musician. Like I was gonna say
Yeah.
something after that, but like I said it and I was like, where do you go from that?
It's okay. Somebody laughed at that.
Probably somewhere.
And to the person who laughed at that,
Like, ha. That's probably the
was
same.
that, did you fart? Is that what
Yeah.
happened? You just
No, I'm just thinking like
flatulated.
that's the kind of person that's like laughs at poop jokes and they're like 24. That could just be like, haha, he's dead. I'm
Cameron,
saying
that's
they're immature.
100% gonna be you when you're 20.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No.
He found Gay Road today. Sips tea. So there's a road in Orlando called Gay Road,
Oh, cute.
and Cameron found it,
It was the shock factor that made me laugh.
and he
It
laughed
wasn't like,
for 20 minutes.
It wasn't like haha gay road. I looked up and it was like gay road, and I was like,
it was
what?
you literally went, ha ha, Gay Road.
Whatever.
In the And then on the way back, you
Why
were
does
like
everybody gotta
talking
out me
about
like this?
some fucking serious shit, and then in the middle of it, you're like, "Oh, ha, Gay Road," and then you just continued on with what you were talking about, and I was like, "I can't." No, this whole conversation is derailed. Speaking of derailing, what was the topic that we were talking about? Michael Jackson, posthumous album.
Yeah.
Yep.
Long story short, Sony, get your shit together.
Yeah, Sony, come on. Sony canceled Community. I'm upset. Still.
they?
Yeah. The first time. Community kept coming back because of its
Because of their
fans.
community.
Because of their community. I'll go next. So, my one topic, since that was going to be my topic, my other topic.
I swear we're organized.
We're so organized. We're so professional.
Mhm.
So Leonard Skinner's third guitarist, Ed King, died at 68. This guy was weird as fuck, man. Like, he looked like a woman. Like, straight up. Like, look at him. Y'all look at him. Look at him. I think maybe he was the inspiration for that song. Who knows? But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Kind of looks like Noah Cyrus.
A little bit.
I was going to say maybe Jacqueline Dupree.
Mm.
Oh, of course. Everybody look up
Oh,
Ed
sorry. I
King.
didn't mean to.
Oh, we're playing footsie under the table.
Ooh.
Yeah. But, yeah, so he was a sort of, like, off and on guitarist for Leonard Skinner. He helped write Freebird, and he helped write Sweet Home Alabama, which were, like, the two biggest Leonard Skinner songs. And he would, like, roadie with them, and then he would buy $100 worth of Slim Jims, and on the road, when other people, like, when you would get hungry because you're on the road for a million years, they would be like, "Hey, Ed, can I have a Slim Jim?" He would sell them to them at a profit a large profit. So imagine, like, you buy a shit ton of Slim Jims at a thing, and I'm like, hey, Cameron, can I have a Slim Jim? And you were like, $10.
I mean, it's good business if you can get somebody to buy it. That shows some skill.
But it's not good because...
If I can buy Slim Jims wholesale for like a penny a piece...
I just gave
and
Cameron
then say,
a terrible
like,
idea.
and then say...
I'm selling it for $2.
I know you need this really bad.
Mm-hmm.
You need the Slim Jim, and I have it here for you right now. You don't have to pay tax. You don't have to pay any shipping fees. I'm handing it to you as we speak.
So when all those hurricanes
$10.
were happening and they were like trying to sell that water for like a shit ton of money, and it became a law or some shit. Like, don't do that to people. If people need shit.
That's a fucking
But
Slim
who
Jim.
needs a Slim Jim?
Okay, you don't understand. When you're like touring, I don't know.
Macho
because I've
Man
never
Randy
toured.
Savage does. That's a wrestling joke.
Alright.
Is that only a white people joke?
I got it. So yeah, maybe.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But he was a founding member of the psychedelic 60s band Strawberry Alarm Clock. Known for their hit Incense and Peppermints. He offered to join Skynyrd when opening for the band at Jacksonville, Florida. Yee.
That just made several people click away.
It's like, yee. Huh?
Just the plainest yee I've ever heard.
The plainest.
Jacksonville, Florida, yee. It sounds like the city
It sounded like you
slogan.
pronounced like every syllable.
Yeah.
Yee. Okay.
I'm trying to talk about a dead man here. Okay, so it wasn't
Two dead
until
people today. Wow.
1972 when he would sign on with Skynyrd, temporarily replacing the bassist Leon Wilkinson, and then becoming a full-fledged member as their third guitarist. So Skynyrd had three guitarists.
Guitarist.
That was like their signature sound, because like I don't know, man. They like guitar shit a lot. Like, that's the whole thing with Freebird, is like, that's a fucking crazy sound. And that's the whole thing, is like this giant, guitar sound. Anyone else listen to Lynyrd Skynyrd?
Yes.
It's a free bird.
Anybody else got any opinions about this?
Well, first off, one thing that came to my mind, like, to think about it, is Skynyrd still alive?
It's very possible they're doing the thing that like really old rock bands do, where they just replace every member, so that it's like every time somebody dies off, that they just get a new person. At the end of it, it's not.
But the only reason
Skynyrd
why
anymore.
I mentioned that is just because I feel like that's kind of sad. Like, if you have a band in general, like, one of my members is gone. Like, how would you, as like the lead vocalist or like that face of the group, how would you feel? Even if he wasn't like a permanent guitar, you know what I mean? But I still feel like he was still part of your team, and I feel like there's like an element of grieving. But if you are replacing, like, does that numb the feeling? Do you get what I mean?
It's weird because in different bands, it's different things. Like, I feel like with #Yikes, which is our band, I only know that from our experience.
Promo.
Well, okay, yeah, also, but I only know that from personal experiences. Like, we've gone through members of our band, we've been through some, and
in a very short amount of time. It's crazy how quick that happens.
It's crazy, and they're always drummers. But shade to all drummers ever. But we're still #Yikes, But I feel like if Nicole were like to get into an accident or something, and Nicole is our lead singer, I feel like we wouldn't be #Yikes anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's different for different.
Like, it depends on
The person.
the ensemble.
Which sucks, because then it's like different levels of importance are being placed on different people in the band, and that can cause conflict.
Because it's like, oh, well, I'm the face of the group. Everybody knows me. And it's like, well, bitch, I'm still a person.
Yeah, like, oh man, if I left, then like, man, nobody would care. But I feel like with the three of us, Nicole, you, and me, I feel like we're like the core of the band. And so I feel like if one of us left, we wouldn't really be like, we could still make music, but it wouldn't be under the name of #Yikes. I don't know, but that's how I feel about it.
I feel I get what you mean on that. It's kind of like, say for instance, like with Panic at the Disco, it's just Brendan Urie at this point.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think he really replaced members, like maybe for like tours to like have a drum you know, but he didn't like say, oh, this is our new drummer. Like it literally went down to, hey bitch, it's me in my garage.
Damn.
Doing my own thing.
That's really sad, actually.
But it's interesting to see how much it changes the sound when people drop.
Yeah.
Right. Because everyone has a different style. And so when it's just you at that point.
Like,
it's
there are
just your
definitely
style.
things that Sarah has done in the studio that I'm like, I wouldn't have come up with that myself.
And there are things that you do that I would ever come up with.
So it's like, as soon as you take that person away from the creative process, it immediately takes something up, because it's really hard to pinpoint a style. And as soon as you introduce somebody that has their own like separate ideas of how things should work and how things should be recorded and what notes you should play, immediately the sound changes.
Yeah.
So it's hard for especially big bands.
Yeah. Like, it's because us, it would be totally easy to rebrand ourselves, like to just get a different name and like a whole different thing. You could do that in like maybe a day. But like for Leonard Skinner, no. Like that's how they make their money, is by selling t-shirts and shit. And
He's already he has a name out there. Not saying you guys don't have a name, but you guys are still small scale.
Yeah, we really
versus
don't,
like
but yeah.
being universal like that. So
Yeah.
It does get harder the more attention you get.
Yeah.
Wow, my voice is deep right now.
You're welcome, everybody.
Thank you. But yeah. But
Moving along. Right?
Yeah, that's actually still really sad though. Like,
Yeah.
rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace, Ed King.
Go.
You're a good guitarist and a good songwriter.
Pretty chill, dude. He's gonna be chilling
Yeah.
with his guitar,
Playing on God's lap. The sweet tune.
That sounds like a song.
Aww. Playing on God's lap. That'll be a part of one of our songs. I'll end it with the an ending quote. Ed was our brother and a great songwriter and guitar player. I know he will be reunited with the rest of the boys in rock and roll heaven. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family.
Rock and roll heaven. That's cute.
That was from Rossington. Guitarist Gary Rossington, which is the lone original member of Leonard Skinner right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Damn. Yeah. They are touring
Whoa.
still.
That's like being in a desert, dude.
Dang.
You had all the original members of the band, and you're the last.
You're the last one.
You are the last man standing.
It was like Betty White and Golden Girls.
It's
All
like the
Golden Girls
apocalypse.
Or dead except
are
Betty
dead
White.
except Betty White.
She was the funniest.
That's
character.
super rough.
That is super rough. Or William Shatner in the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must like
That must suck, like really terribly, like a lot.
because all your friends are gone.
All your
All my
friends.
friends are dead. But it's the truth. It's the truth.
I just want to let that hang in the air and like give you all dead air.
I had to really hold myself back from singing it. I felt really strongly inclined to be like, "All my friends are dead." Anyways,
It's a musician's struggle. I'm not constantly sing all the time. So that's my thing.
all right.
Yeah.
So an interesting thing has been happening. I follow like a lot of like rappers, and like the albums they're putting out recently. A lot. What? Say it again. Okay.
Christmas. That's what I heard. Everybody in the comments, tell us what Aaron just said then.
I mean, you guys will be able to hear it later.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
eventually, but I want
Stop.
people to comment.
Enhance.
Stop. Enhance. Do
I'll
it.
just listen to it at like 2 times speed. I'm sure I'll be able to hear what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been following a lot of rappers, and a lot of people have released stuff in the past 2 months or so. And I was really getting into the new Denzel Curry album, the Taboo album. And me and Sarah were in the car, and we were looking at stuff to talk about, and she saw something about the idea of an album being celebrated in Britain. Like they're gonna do an album day that is gonna celebrate like the art form of making an album and making an entire narrative across certain songs and like keep that thing going. I didn't think it was in danger. Which I was
Same,
like,
yeah.
that's what caught my, because I was like, the album isn't dying.
I was confused because all the images in the article were of records. So I was like, maybe they mean records, because records aren't super popular. They're coming back, so maybe that's what they're doing. But I think they actually meant the narrative form of an album.
But
instead of
are they
just
talking about
listening
like the creative process behind?
That's
creating-
what it's
know.
so
I'm like-
vague.
It was really
I'm like,
vague.
I was
how
like-
do you? You it's like writing a story. We're gonna celebrate writing
a story.
Persuasive essay.
You're like, what is this, book club? Like, it's
What is this book club?
Like, I don't understand.
yeah, and that's what was going through my head as I was reading it. I was like, I don't quite understand what you're trying to accomplish with this. Like, are you trying to raise awareness for albums? In which case, just go on like Spotify. There's plenty of albums.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was noticing that artists like Denzel Curry and Drake's new album as well, they're like cutting it into chapters. Like Denzel Curry's
Yeah.
album has like 3 different chapters, and like the thing about it is supposed to be like light thoughts to dark thoughts or something like that. And so it has it in 3 separate sections, like song 1 through 4, 1 through 4, and 1 through 4 or whatever. And then Drake's album has 2 different styles to it. So like the first 12 I think are him, or the first 13 are him rapping on stuff, and then the other 12 or 13 is him singing on stuff. And that's that's to tell a story about how he's being criticized for being one thing or the other, and he just wants to be himself. And then Denzel Curry is talking about how like all this fame and all this attention is like, and like especially for Denzel Curry because he has like a lot of meme songs that people are making fun of, like that. I am the one who understands and stressed up on the streets and enemy and that whole thing.
Does he do it on purpose?
No,
To be
he
mean?
was being serious with that song, and it's called Ultimate. If you want to look it up, it's a lot funnier when you listen to him say it. But people were using it as like a meme song, and then he was talking about like irony and how everybody wants him to like kill himself and are supporting him at the same time, and he doesn't know what to think or what to feel, and it was like this whole thing, and I was like, damn, man. Like, and it's cool because you get to see that development over the entire album, starting from song 1 going to song to the end.
But if you listen to a single, you wouldn't get that.
Yeah, but if you just pick the song randomly in the middle, it's
Yeah.
just kind of like it's just a song.
Yeah. Right.
So, and it kind of made me appreciate that fact that of albums and how that's been happening recently. And again, it's like, why are you celebrating that for a day? Like, it doesn't need.
It's been happening for
and
a
I think
long
that's
time.
and I think that's intrinsic to people who release music.
Yeah, I think so as well, because you think about, you know, it's okay. So like when you create anything, like you start from like the smallest amount, you know, and then you build it bigger and bigger and bigger. So like of course you're gonna do that with music, where like you start with like, okay, I like this lick, and I'm gonna turn this lick into like a chorus. I'm gonna write a different thing. I'm gonna put this together, and oh, now it's a song. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do another song, and that one's gonna relate to that, and blah blah blah. And oh, now I have an EP, and now I have an album. Like, that's how the creative process works. So are we just celebrating the creative process? Because like, cool, but I feel like we do that all the time.
I
Right?
think maybe they're trying to come at it from an angle of like the arts. Not saying the arts are now being seen as less important, but I feel like especially nowadays, like people, yeah, you might have artists who are like putting out music and stuff, but before, when we didn't have like social media and things, like people really focus on the art itself. They focus on every aspect of the album. Now it's like, oh, this person just came out with a diss track. Oh, this person came out with another. Okay,
That's
cool,
very
boom,
true.
boom, boom. So I feel like it's kind of like going back to the basics type, if that makes sense, where it's like, okay, let's celebrate, even though it might not be this specific artist. It's just, let's celebrate the actual journey of creating this form of art, which
That's great.
It's great. It's also one of those things, but I feel like as musicians, we naturally do that.
Yeah, it just
For
seemed like
people
trivial
who-
to me.
Seems like breathing.
But that's to us. For people who don't know the creative process behind it, I think it's more for them than for us.
That is true, because like when you're thinking about how music is released or marketed, it is usually like bite-sized, like a single, you know, and that's it. And, like, I think the best way for musicians to make money right now is by having somebody
little snippets
listen to their song over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you know, you see, like, we saw a million articles today that were like, streaming services are doing so good. And it's like, yeah, freaking duh. You know, like, nobody's going out and buying albums. I guess maybe that's what it is. Go out and buy an album.
Actually support the
platform.
artist.
The
Actually
artist.
support the
Yeah, don't just listen.
Even though
to
you
the
might
thing on
feel
Spotify
that,
or
okay, like, who really wants to buy, like, Remy Ma?
Huh?
Sorry.
Who are you
Remy
gonna drag
Ma.
now?
Who like really wants to buy her Most Recent album? But at the same time, there's still that form that it's like, this person still, like, put months.
Yeah.
And, like, people don't realize, especially when it comes to, like, rap artists, like, yeah, you might be like, oh, I could freestyle stuff, but it takes a lot.
Yeah.
You have to enunciate every single thing that you do. You have to make sure that you're on top of the beat. You need to this. You have that. So it's easier to pump out more music now than it was before, because you have, like, the use of technology where you might have, like, preset, like, beats and, like, you know, drones and stuff. But there's still work done to, like, perfect it in a way. Look at Nicki Minaj. Ooh, yes, we love a sister who. We love a sister slip.
Sister
Sister
slip.
slip.
You came up with that off the top of your head, boy.
Listen, for anybody who gets the reference.
Oh, is that a reference? Okay.
You have to watch the documentary. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, Nicki, she literally postponed her album like 2-3 times.
So it would be perfect.
To make sure that, right, because she's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Now, how you feel about the album is how you feel about the album, okay? But she still put the time and effort to really sit there and know, if I'm going to release something, I need to make sure it's done properly for that she feels good about it. And same thing with any other artist. Yeah. If you're going to create a song, if you're going to be a rock band, anything, you create the music and you start from the beginning, you do lyrics, you do however you form your music.
Yeah, and it's different for everybody, you know.
Right. Yeah. Everyone has a different process. But at the end of the day, you went through all of that work and you're going to release your music because you want people to listen. So, I don't know. I feel like it is important to, like, celebrate it. Again, from a musician standpoint.
It's like, well, freaking duh, yeah.
But we will do that.
Yeah.
Joe Slow-Mo down the street, who's an accountant who never touched a recorder in his life, probably wouldn't know the actual process behind it. So I just feel like for him, it would be like, okay, well, let me look into this. Oh, wow, you do this, that, and a third?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I think I just think of celebrating, like, days, like, celebrating, like, these weird, like, holidays where it's like, oh my gosh, it's Hat Day. And it's like, I think it's just, like, a consumer.
More like a capitalist thing.
Yeah, it's like, go out and buy a hat. And so, like, when you say album day, it's like, go buy an album. And I'm like, yeah. I do that anyway.
I mean, buy it if it's good.
Buy it if it's good.
Yeah,
I know.
You know.
That's Tuesday.
Like, buy it if that's something you enjoy, yeah.
I know, I'm gonna do that anyway. But I'm sure, you know, if there was a profession in, like, wearing hats, that person on Hat Day is like, duh.
Yeah.
I buy hats every day, you know.
Hats are my life.
Yeah, hats are my entire life. So, you know, it's strange. Yep.
True.
That's the basis of all I wanted to talk about with that. It just seemed odd at first, but when you dig into it, it's worth appreciating.
Yeah.
Spicy.
The fuck? Why?
The camera saw that, but she didn't.
What?
Anyways, go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, go. Aaron goes when it's over with, so I can kick Cameron out my house. Okay.
My next topic's really light. Does anybody have anything else dark? Because I kind of want to end off on a light topic.
I have a dark one.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, cool. So John Lennon's killer, Mark David Chapman, denied parole for safety of society. So
Whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that
what are you, some kind of hero now? Boy, what? I am a threat to society.
Jesus Christ.
I am the hero that Gotham deserves, or whatever the line is.
He's not a hero. He killed John Lennon.
Yeah.
That's not cool. It's not.
Why does he get a say in anything anymore?
Well, that's the thing. This is his 10th time applying for parole, and he's killed somebody so beloved that he's just like never gonna get out of jail anymore. And I don't remember John Lennon's whole thing, like if it was an accident or if it was on purpose. I don't remember.
Was he? Wait, so he got denied parole?
Yeah, he got denied parole.
I thought you said he denied parole, as in like
he was on parole.
He himself was like, nah, I'm not going to parole. I'm going to stay right here because I'm too much of a threat to society. So you're saying somebody else told him
he's in jail. He wanted to get out of jail and be on parole, but they were like, nah, you still in jail, boy.
I misheard her.
Yes.
Nobody got that joke. That joke didn't land at all.
I was confused by why you were laughing, but I was like, okay, sure, let's laugh. All right. Yeah. So Chapman's release would be incompatible with the welfare and safety of society and would so deprecate the serious nature of the crime as to undermine respect for the law. That's fucking crazy. That's like a lot, man. Okay, so Chapman shot and killed the former Beatle outside Lennon's Manhattan apartment on December 8th, 1980. He's serving 20 years to life at Wend Correctional Facility in New York. So, he carefully planned and executed the murder of a world famous person for no reason other than to gain notoriety. So, like, I mean, imagine that. Like, you know, I was talking earlier about how, like, these big musicians, like, they die in, like, mysterious circumstances, like Prince and Michael Jackson. I don't know him that well. I can't just call him Michael. And then John Lennon is this, like, really super documented, like, death, a public assassination for this guy to be, by this guy, because he wanted to gain the notoriety of being the guy that killed John Lennon. And imagine that you're so infamous that, like, you're just stuck. You're just stuck in jail.
What does he think's going to happen when he gets out, though? That's interesting that he did it for the notoriety. He's applying for parole to be let out of jail. And he's just going to go back out into the world and be some kind of, like, superstar? Or...
I just think it's funny that... Well, not funny, but interesting that people still protest his being let out for parole. Because, like, I don't know. I find kids these days... Or, like, you know, I'll talk to, like, kids. They're like, oh, who cares about the Beatles anymore? The Beatles are old. Blah, 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 blah. But there are people who still adore John Lennon that much that they're like, nah, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Yeah.
Well, I think it's from a sense of... From the fan standpoint, it's more of responsibility because this is someone that not only they idolize, but this is someone that they love, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if it were any other loved one you had and someone went ahead and killed them, you're not going to let the murderer get out of jail. You're going to, like, protest and make sure that the mother, he, like, stays stays there.
Yeah.
And especially when you're someone as famous as John Lennon.
And that's
you're going to have millions of people. Yeah. Even old, new. There are a lot of people nowadays, at least from the kids I've talked to, I've noticed a lot more old souls.
Yeah, that's true.
Old heads, I think is what they're calling them now.
Oh, God. In this generation where it's like, they're like, oh, yeah, I love the Beatles. I'm like...
Really? Because I meet so many people. Like, I met
I'm a teacher, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Really? So, the younger kids are more into the Beatles now?
Yeah.
Because you teach, really young kids.
No, like middle to high schoolish. So I still count them as young because I'm, like, 21.
Yeah. But,
younger than me. I'm like, oh, you're a child.
Yeah, look at this little baby. But they're into the Beatles? Really?
Yeah. Huh. You'd be... Wow, stuttering. What? You'd be surprised who listens to what.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays where you have access to so many different genres. So I feel like... That's
true. We have a lot more access to, like, older music. Yeah.
So I feel like that's probably why there are still people who are upset. There are still people who are like, what? No. We're going to make sure that he stays there because at the end of the day, this is someone that I cared for. They're not gone because you decided you wanted to have your name in history. Okay, your name's in history as the guy who stayed in jail.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm not surprised there's so much appreciation for older bands and because I mean, I think people underestimate the popularity of these bands in today's time.
Yes.
But if you watch like any like top 10 most listened to songs, like watchmojo.com or you go to like an all-time favorites playlist, it's all old songs. It's all old stuff. It's all Beatles.
Yeah.
It's all fucking Eagles. It's all like it's Hotel California. It's Blackbird. It's it's like these songs you don't even think about half the time because it's just like that's just America. Like it's just kind of like the culture.
Yeah. But it's different levels because like I've talked to different ages of people who enjoy the Beatles. So like my guitar teacher is like 60 something years old and he was alive during like Beatlemania and stuff. And he was just well, yeah, it's a real thing. And I was asking him about, he said something about, like, the Beatles performing. And he was like, oh, yeah, no. They have so many songs they've never recorded that they would only perform, like, live that weren't recorded because of the technology at the time. And I was like, holy shit, really? He's like, yeah, I went to, like, 3 Beatles, concerts, when they were popular. And they're songs that I could never hear again because they didn't record it, and they're dead now. Well, John Lennon's dead, but yeah. And so that he has this like reverent respect for the Beatles. And then I was listening to Chris D'Elia today, and Chris D'Elia was like, "Old music sucks." Like he was making this point on his most recent podcast. He was just like, "Old music sucks." Like "Yellow Submarine" by the Beatles. Fuck that song. What is that song even about? And I was like, that's such an interesting, and he's like 40 something years old, so like that's only like a 20-year difference.
And there's still a jump.
And even another one, I met a guy a while ago, like a couple months ago, who was starting a rock band, and he decided he didn't know anything about rock music, so he decided he was going to listen to all of the Beatles because he wanted to do research and writing.
That's
rock
fair.
music.
I mean, a lot of what music is studying genres, so if you want to do it accurately, you listen to the music.
But he chose the Beatles because he was like, they're the prime, rock musicians.
Right, because they're just so famous. Like
I feel like that's very general, though.
Yeah,
he could have done that a little better.
He could have.
It depends on what kind of rock you're trying to get into.
Exactly.
So if you're going to judge your rock sound,
but maybe from his standpoint, like if you especially if you said he didn't know anything, like the first thing that can do, the Beatles.
Just everybody talks about the Beatles.
Yeah,
right.
So it's a good start.
He also sang like John Mayer, which was interesting to me. So I was like, oh, that'd be an interesting sound.
He's just going to turn into like Jason Mraz.
Pretty much. Yeah, it kind of was. It was hilarious. But he played the guitar in the practice rooms at Valencia, and every girl came out of the practice rooms to be like, who is that singing? And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, damn. This boy's going to get popular. I think he serves coffee at Valencia. I don't know. Forgot his name, but not sponsored. But yeah, it's just like different generations of respect and opinions about the Beatles. I don't know.
Everyone's different.
Imagine if you were so famous, everybody had an opinion about you. Everyone.
No matter where, if you couldn't walk outside.
Yeah, everybody had some sort of opinion. Yeah.
That'd be fucked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's probably how Ariana Grande feels right now.
Oh yeah, and Pete Davidson. Because everybody's talking about their relationship right now.
I think everybody's like, Pete Davidson is the song I always skip.
I love Pete Davidson. He's hilarious.
And then Ariana Grande was like, boo-hoo, Alexa, play Pete Davidson.
That's so cute!
And I was like,
oh,
you got this, Ariana. She's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Sweetener was a good song.
All right.
I wouldn't say the album was fantastic, but the Sweetener was a pretty good song.
Who knew that reference? Thank you.
Aaron's just like, he just kind of says his own stuff behind the scenes.
And you have to listen real hard for the Aaron track.
It's like, where's Waldo?
I'm liking it, yeah. I'm liking it.
Yeah, that's good. You should like go back and do like commentary tracks over.
Oh my god.
Over the podcast.
Be like, this is when. If you go back to 45 minutes and 30 seconds, you can hear me tapping on the microphone, just like, yes. No, but yeah.
But yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's your second topic?
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, yours is light too. That was the last.
Oh wait,
arc.
Yeah.
how light is your light?
It's funny as fuck.
It's kind of funny.
It's very
Well,
funny.
mine's like music appreciativity.
That might be.
Mine's more politics, so maybe do yours first.
Well, no, I actually feel like I don't know. Y'all decide. Rock paper scissors right now. Oh shit!
All right. We didn't actually decide what was gained from that. We just played rock paper scissors.
Okay.
Also, this is a podcast, so Cameron won. For the people that don't watch.
1 Cameron, Aaron 0. There's no reward. We're just playing rock paper scissors.
This is a music podcast, not a rock paper scissors podcast.
Man,
Guys.
that's funny. I guess I'll go.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that whoever the winner was got to say whatever they had to say.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
fine? So,
Okay, that's fine.
essentially what happened was the title was hilarious
It was
of this
so
article.
good.
It's essentially the United States paid a man in Cambodia to sing his album about America on stage.
But I want to give props to the person who wrote this article because they used the word woo.
The United States wanted to woo Cambodia. So like the United States is like, oh my god, is Cambodia
United
talking about me?
States.
I like them so much.
What is Cambodia like, guys? I want to know.
That's nice.
And right? It's kind of
No,
cute.
what does Cambodia like?
Oh, what? Oh.
Yeah,
thought
like
you-
I want to ask Cambodia.
I forget the
out.
guy's name, but America was like, hey, artist, come here.
It was
Wait,
Yorn Young.
like, do you think if like you sang this album at a concert, like Cambodia would like us? Like, do you think like they would get their attention or something like that? Like, cause I really I just want to like be able to like talk to Cambodia and stuff like this. Like, if we gave you like,
Just talk to the whole country.
If-
I just want to
like,
get to
with
know
a
Cambodia.
just
Yeah.
like,
no, but that's really what
Cambodia.
happened. Like
Yeah.
they a popular artist made an album. I don't think the U.S. paid him to make the album. I think the Cambodian artist, maybe it wasn't
so.
specified in the article. They just said that artist had written an album about the United States of America.
So we listened to parts of the album, and I think it was paid to do
well,
this album.
it's interesting because it is very cheesy standard American chord progressions and sounds, but
Yeah.
then weird microtonal Asian singing over
Yeah.
it in a different language.
Yeah.
So it's like a 1-6-4-5 progression, and it's like hi, 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 and it's like it's the cool. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. It is interesting. It's when I heard it, I was like, this is what you would listen to at a Chinese buffet.
No,
That's what I thought in my head.
no
You know?
Chinese buffet. They're not. That's no.
Is that racist? I'm sorry.
No.
No, it is though. Like, go listen to it.
I mean, like, I've only been to like a Chinese buffet, I think, like once. But
it is though.
I don't even remember them playing music, to be perfectly honest with
No,
you.
I always listen to the music, and I love the music in Chinese buffets.
Oh, really?
I want to be the violist that can play like the crazy like pentatonic scale of like what the fuck ever, like the Eastern music, scale. That's
Aaron,
what
you
I want.
alright?
You okay?
I'm chilling.
Did I say something wrong?
I feel like we were both just being super racist for a while, and Aaron is just like,
What? Because I'm generalizing how the microtonal thing sounds?
No,
I didn't
you
think. I
guys
didn't
are
say it was
fine.
bad.
100%
What was it?
true.
Embarrassing?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm just hungry.
Oh no, I think I
Oh,
embarrassed
damn
Aaron.
it, God
Am
damn
I
it.
cringy? I'm sorry, but
Oh no.
So yeah, so it's really standard chord progressions and then like very Eastern influence vocals, and then it's like a whole bunch of songs. It mentions Florida twice, which I didn't
Yeah.
think Florida was
It's
that
very
big
popular.
a deal.
Yeah.
We're very controversial.
I guess, and I don't know, because one of them was about like Minnesota too. So
Yeah.
now I feel like kind of like we're on
Tis
the like
Minnesota.
Yeah.
The opening track.
That's the opening track. And the ending track is one about Florida.
No,
so I'm like,
the ending track is South Carolina Beach.
right. But you're
Yeah.
like, Minnesota, South Carolina.
Yeah.
You're like, who lives
What?
there? And then you're putting Florida in there, and it's like, I mean, Orlando has a lot of people that live there.
And it's like really specific. I love Long Island Beach. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, cool, great. And then Florida twice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not even like Chicago's on there. It's like the really specifically. There's no Los Angeles or California reference. So I'm like,
Long Beach.
Long Beach. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. So I mean,
You're
I
right
think
about
that's
that.
California, but
Oh yeah. So it's like the really specifically like the most popularity, like
The most popularity.
The most popular. Fucking. Listen, I haven't had all my coffee yet today. I don't have a Malta today, so I'm not
she's
existing on the full level of Sarah that I normally do. But yeah, it's like the most popular places in the United States is what it is. I don't know why the fuck Minnesota is the
Minnesota was an odd one. I listened to Tis Minnesota. That's the one.
Minnesota.
That was the first one. That's the one with like the 1-6-4-5 progression, like the really simple thing.
Yeah. The Florida one, the first Florida one, is so good. It opens
it's really cheesy and
really
weird.
Great. It's so good.
So,
my God.
Again, I don't know if they paid him to do the album, although it sounds like it. But they paid this artist to go on stage in Cambodia. They paid him $10,000, which to us is like okay.
What? Okay. Why?
Like that seems like kind of a raw deal.
Yeah.
Like
that's like 2 years of college.
Are you serious? Like $10,000? But then you think like Cambodia probably uses yen?
I don't
Question
know.
mark?
Yeah, Aaron, please look it up.
And it depends on it really depends on what currency they use, but I mean like $10,000 might be a lot to the Cambodian economy. And, like, governments really want to hold on to dollars because they have a really stable...
Oh, I know. I just talked to financial aid.
Cambodia doesn't use the yen. I know this answer. Let me search it up.
Okay.
I think it's the...
And maybe a conversion.
It's a real. That's right.
Okay.
What's the... one real...
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Tell us that conversion.
Actually, hold on. Now I want to know.
Yeah, right?
So... 10,000.
Oh no.
US.
And you think like $10,000 is like throwaway money for the government, but for Cambodia.
But then like
here it comes.
Oh no, not
drum roll,
please.
We're not percussionists. We can't do this, right?
Oh, my dumb self.
Explain.
I did. Hold on. This is when you know it's bad. I did 10,000 like Cambodian real to USD, and it's only $2.46. So.
Oh my god. Okay, so
I'm not ready for this answer.
That was more than I thought.
But that's here we go. 40 million.
Oh my
Cambodian
god,
real.
that makes total sense. Now. As to why this guy... So they asked this guy...
I'm just so shocked that
and he's
like,
a solo.
it's so
no,
low.
it's not a solo artist. It's a band because there was two singers.
It's him and a band, and I don't know who the other singer is. She's
like
not...
Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes. So it's Yorn Young and the Pussycats, and so then I don't know who the female singer is. There's a female singer who shows up. I don't know who she is, but when they asked him about this album, he was just like, yeah, the United States government asked me to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, and also it's not propaganda. And I'm like...
He didn't say it wasn't propaganda. He said, I wasn't worried about people thinking it's propaganda. He's like, I'm not worried. Yeah, like, I'm not even...
That's basically the same.
$40 million.
Now he has $40 million.
He doesn't have to worry about a damn thing. Yeah, that's why.
That makes a whole lot of sense. You know, the government slides you $40 million of your currency, and you're like, here, go do your job.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you know? That guy's living large in Cambodia.
It's interesting to me because in the article it said that the United States relationship with Cambodia has been at an all-time low because of their authoritarian government leader. I forgot his name, but he's been governing this Cambodia for like 33 years. And so it's interesting to me because I immediately thought about how during the Cold War, Russia, when it was a totalitarian governed Western culture, sort of was like the freedom for people who were living under that sort of, you know, harsh government. But that happened naturally. Like, that was just like people who really liked, like, at the time during the Cold War, like the Beatles and things like that, and things that would eventually become, like, the Beatles were British, but they would become related to American culture. And we would basically adopt them as like symbols of you know, Western music and rock and roll and our, you know, spirit. So I'm like, why are you trying to manufacture a cultural takeover in another government And I get it, and it's not specifically, like, the United States doesn't have any problems specifically with Cambodia, but Cambodia is very good friends with China, and we do have very specific, problems
Seems
with
like
China.
an odd push for, like, democracy,
Yeah.
It's like, hey, go promote this album that's all about how great America is to pull people away from the ideals of how they live, whether or not they think it's better to come to the U.S. or not.
And it's so sneaky and underhanded. And, like, I only found it, like, on, like, the third page of, like, music news on this random, like, website that you use for news that I had never heard of before. And I was like, well,
how would you know that
how would
otherwise
I
that
know
that happened?
Yeah.
And, like, it's like little things like that. Like, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is.
But it is if it's going to continue to be
because it's almost like marketing, like pathos, ethos, logos. Like, we're just going to say, like, we're going to appeal to these people's emotions and be like, hey, like, America's great. Come here. Forget about all the stuff that's happening here. That's bad. There's bad things. But this is good things.
Mm-hmm.
America's a good dog. Cambodia's a bad. They got bad dogs.
Good dog. I have a bad dog. I don't know, man. It's weird to me. It's sneaky. And then also I have the American mentality of, so my taxes are going into to paying this Cambodian singer to, like, advertise our country. Why? Why do we need to advertise our country? Why can't we just be better and naturally have our country be, it just seems really sneaky to me. I don't know. It doesn't sit right. But I've openly said that I'm not.
And it just seems kind of, like, ineffective. Like, really, what do you think's going to happen? Like, everybody's going to turn tail and run from Cambodia?
Yeah.
And
then
like,
go to America?
Yeah, and like, here, America, have all of my currency.
That doesn't make sense to me either, because we don't want like, what do you want? Do you want foreigners in our country or not?
We can't make up our minds. We're very emotional,
You want money, but you don't want what the money's attached to.
You drink coffee weird. Does anybody notice that? If you've noticed that, put it in the comments. But Sarah's, like, holding her thumb over the lid with her hand under the cup and is drinking
I'm
it
not
like
even
a
using
monkey
the handle.
claw. Like,
Some people do that. I don't know. But yeah, I do it.
Maybe if your hands are like...
Leave a like if you do it too. I'll fist bump you in the comments. I'll figure it out. So yeah, it was weird. It was a weird time. Did you look up a bunch of shit about Cambodia? Because I saw you making a bunch of faces at your phone.
I was just looking at prices of living in Cambodia, and I'm like, bitch, I just might move. Like,
move over to Cambodia
this.
with all your American dollars and become a millionaire.
Yeah, like, rent a 3-bedroom apartment in the city, like, send it, like, three bedroom is only $956.
How much is that in American dollars?
To have a 3-bedroom apartment in the city?
Yeah, that's amazing. But how much is that in American? Like, could I do that today?
It's $956 US.
Oh, US dollars.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, for a 3-bedroom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a fucking 1-bedroom.
Awesome.
A one bedroom in the city, a good one, is like $1,100 to $1,400. So, like, if you're gonna move over to Cambodia and get 2 more rooms for less money, fuck yeah,
and then rent that shit out. And it's only like $300.
Just, I don't know where you're gonna get your education from.
Right.
Speak the
Cambodian
language.
education.
Basic utilities only $87.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Oh my god. A gallon of gas is $3.59.
Okay,
that's
but everything's probably close enough that you don't have to go places.
Yeah, that's true. In foreign countries, you usually don't have to. Things are not as spread out.
Bananas are 54 cents.
That's okay.
I eat a lot of.
But it's probably because they're local. Maybe. I would imagine they'd be cheaper if they were, like, you didn't have to, like, outsource them or anything like that.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, a cappuccino is $2.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm gone.
That's great.
Goodbye.
If I can get my espresso for that cheap.
Goodbye, everybody.
Caught their attention.
So yeah, Aaron's supposed to go.
Oh, this is time for Aaron's secondary topic. Now, this topic I'm just scared that now it's gonna like seem like not as important. But I thought this topic was really important,
a good one.
and I titled it "Classical Music." Here's the reason why. As you guys know, I'm a violist, and I'm proud of it. But one thing that we've touched on before is how classical music, and I say classical as in the whole genre. I don't mean like specifically the time period. But how classical music is viewed in today's society. And I saw two really great articles, one by the New York Times and the other one by the Greensboro or News and Records. Greensboro. Cool. Anyways, basically, and they did like these two articles based on like getting new people into like classical music and like how it's not that scary. Because like one of the, I think, is it the New York Times that talks about it? Yeah, the New York Times goes through like a checklist basically, and they're just like, not a checklist. Not New York Times.
If you give me a checklist, that's scary.
Well, not a checklist. It's like not a it's like reasons why like it's really not that scary.
Okay. This is the list.
Have you used toothpaste? Yes. How you feel fluoride in your toothpaste? Don't have a preference. I'm sorry. Google does this thing sometimes when you go on certain like things and like ask you like you can't
Please
see
take
the
a
context.
survey.
I'm like, really, toothpaste?
I'm trying to do a podcast right now.
But yeah, they're just like classical. Yeah, basically like even the first sentence in the article is like classical music aficionados like go away. This article's not for you.
Oh no!
Right, and basically the whole premise is just like here are reasons why like classical music is actually not that scary and like an interesting topic, an interesting genre to get into, and it goes over like classical music offers something on a large scale. There's a lot more to classical music than orchestral music. Classical music's relaxing, just like all the benefits of it. And I thought that was really interesting because again, I just feel like when you think about the classical world, it's very posh.
Yes.
And a lot of it's because it has like European like roots, where it's just like ha ha ha,
and just very stuck up roots in general.
Right. Especially like anybody in the classical music scene, like a lot of professionals just seem very much more like
Well, it's so specific. There's no room for really interpretation. Like in interpretation, it's seen as your technical skill isn't there.
Right.
So, like, you know, like in rock music, you can play sloppy, and somebody will be like, that's a cool sound, and it's just a cool sound. But if you play sloppy on the viola, get out of the room.
Well,
You're not a good...
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of town.
Get out of town. Get a walking stick and get out of town. Because you're, you know, you're just not at the level as the rest of us.
Right.
Which is bullshit. I think that's bullshit. I do, but you have to deal with it because it's ingrained in the culture.
See,
right now.
that's what we would have to, and I think that's why people are so afraid of the culture because there's been this dynamic where you have to be like basically perfect in order to make it, which kind of sucks. Which is why it's like
that's bled into the listenership as well.
Right.
Like you have to know everything about the piece
to
enjoy it, and that's not true. It's music. That's just like everything else. Yeah.
I noticed that I think especially when it comes to the younger generation that is because like say for instance like anytime like because I like do lessons and teach and stuff you'll have like students where like we'll play like a song or whatever like say for instance like Mahler 5 fantastic.
Your kids aren't playing Mahler 5.
No, I'm just like we'll play a video or like no the other day we played a rendition of Gershwin's Summertime.
Oh, okay.
And I forgot who the singer was, but fantastic voice. I sat there and I had goosebumps. And I was even talking to Haley about it, and it's like because I watched the video after. She was telling me how she was feeling, but she was explaining like when they saw this video, it was like, oh, okay.
What?
Right.
Oh.
And I just feel like because of the nature of this style or lifestyle that it makes it harder to connect with it when it's not as inclusive. So I like the idea that they went out of their way to be like, hey guys, look, if you're curious about it, like here's some starts, you know, you don't have to be like this like you know virtuoso, like you can just like be a normal Joe Shlomo and just like vibe with it, you know.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was really interesting and actually really important because, again, and I'll reiterate it as till I'm dead, classical music's beautiful, just like any other form of music. And you know, every form has its, you know, has its thing. But I just feel like classical music's dying because of the people in it. It's not the music itself. Because there are a lot of people who say listen to classical music to like relax and everything. Like it's known for like being more chill. But I also feel like because of the culture and everything, it's really tainted the reputation it has. And I think that's, I don't know, it's sad as someone who appreciates.
And what would you say to the people who think the opposite? That they think articles like that are what's killing classical music? Who are, you know, like the really stuck up people who are like...
Who are just like, well,
like
the traditionalists.
Essentially, yes. And it's this idea that you should take classical music more lightly and it's more open to everybody and you don't have to take it so seriously. And that's what's killing classical music.
But I feel like...
Do you want a paycheck, honey? Because, like, it's...
Do you want a paycheck? Because how are you supposed to sell out concerts if you don't have people to listen to it?
And if people, like, you gotta chill the fuck out. For people to you know, talk... It's like an asshole or somebody that you know who is just, like, really harsh and really mean and negative all the time. And he's like, why don't I have any friends? And you have to be like, honey...
Here's why.
It's because of this.
But then I feel like, I mean, honestly, this type of like attitude towards any style of music is like present in all forms. It's not just classical music, even in rock, especially in rock.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who are like, oh, this is rock, this is the best type of rock. Every other alternative rock, who's that? Excuse me? Heavy metal? Ew. You know, where it's just like, I don't know. I me being someone who's in it, I like these type of articles because I feel like it reaches out to another demographic that might not know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially when you like play an instrument, there's a level of privilege you have there.
Yes.
To be able to say, oh, I have a viola, or oh, I have, you know, to practice and everything. Like, even if you have like a shitty like colored one that you bought off of Amazon, you still can afford that. There are people who can't.
Yeah.
But I still think it's important that those people who don't have that still have. There's access to.
They can at least read about it and think like,
read about it, listen to it, right? Because that's free. You know,
there are so many people who would walk into Atlantic Strings who've been like, they're like 50 something, and they're like, I never picked up an instrument because I never thought I would be good enough, and I just got to this point in my life where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And they've missed that part of their life where like you learn really quickly.
So
which
it's
is
harder
important
to start.
Yeah, so it's harder, it's more difficult for them to start, but they're also more passionate about it because it's something they've been wanting to do for decades, for their entire life. And so just do it. The idea of like, Nike, #Nike sponsors, just do it. But like the idea that if you don't have the skill immediately as soon as you pick up something, that you should just quit is stupid. It's
toxic.
Stupid. It's toxic. It's stupid and toxic. Yeah. I don't know. But the weird thing to me is in classical music, it's the thing that's kept me in classical music is the people that I've met.
Right. And I feel like same, because even like now being able to play in a larger group, like I love that everybody's just on the same page and happy. And I feel like when you're in it, everyone has the same mind frame.
Yeah. But
outside of it, you'll sit there and talk about stuff and people are like,
what are you talking about? Yeah. I don't want to talk about this. I don't know anything about this.
Right. And I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like if there's more awareness, not saying people aren't aware of classical music, I feel like classical music, everyone's like, oh, but I feel like if there's more like actual awareness on like different aspects of classical music and like stuff like that, like I feel like not only will it bring more people together, but overall music in any genre could be celebrated and there could be more open-minded people to like, you know, celebrate it.
Yeah. I was with my D&D friends yesterday, and I was I talk about music all the time with them, but none of them want to talk about music ever, so they always like move on from me talking about music. And I enthralled them because I was telling them about how the Brandenburg concertos were found like covering dishes because because Bach wrote the Brandenburg concertos to try and get a job. And he failed. He wasn't given the job.
I love the Brandenburg concertos.
They're some of the most famous concertos for, today, but like he just decided, well, I didn't get the job, so they must not be good enough, so we just kind of threw them away. And then years later, after World War II, they found them covering dishes. And that story connected with my friends and people who have tried to be classical musicians in school, but have given up because they decided,
because they're just like, oh, I can't.
I'm not good enough. I'm not passionate enough about this. I can't do it.
But then, could you also say, like, make the argument that, like, the school system's killing it as well, like specifically public school? Because I feel like in private school, at least in my experience so far, is that there's a higher emphasis in, like, parents pushing the kids to, like, play an instrument versus in public school. Like, my mother wanted me to do music because I enjoyed it. She was just like, yeah, do whatever, you're interested in.
Yeah.
But I had that type of support versus someone who, like, doesn't have it, and it was just like...
Are we recording still?
Yeah, time's
Yes.
Oh.
Miss, I can't see anything.
I can't see.
You need to wear your glasses more.
Yeah. But no, I agree. I think with private school, like, the parents have enough money to
do that, right.
either not have a job and have more time to themselves to worry about their kids. From what I've met about parents who are richer, because I've been in, like, the houses in Windermere and, like, taught their kids and stuff. And so I don't know. My mom didn't have time to make me play viola scales all the time. Like, I had to tell myself to do that.
To do that, right.
Yeah, because she was working all the time.
Same.
I don't know, man. I like that there are programs in public schools. I don't want them to go away, but they need to teach it better.
Teach it right, and I think that's what it is. I feel like, especially now when they're pushing all this Common Core, as great as I understand, like, there's different formulas and ways to do stuff. I just feel like now we've strayed away from, like, the essence of why we have this class, why we have classes like home ec or
Yeah, we don't have wood shop anymore.
We don't, because that's a hazard. But
well, okay.
well,
I mean,
yeah, because I've seen too many people, like, cut their fingers off, and it's like, yeah, okay,
It's gross.
But, like, you lose the, like, foundation of what music is, and you see I feel like I see less and less kids now, like, doing bands and, like, orchestra, because they see, like, band kids are out on the fields for hours.
Yeah.
Personally, that's one reason why I didn't do band, because I'm like, I need something that is air conditioned and not as hard day. And I chose the viola, the most challenging of all.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like, I don't know, it's weird living in this day and age, because I feel like if I was born, like, 50 years ago, it would be different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It would be wildly different. If we were in the 60s right now, well, first of all, this probably wouldn't be happening, so
Yeah,
I'm glad we're here now. But
Well,
sorry. That was probably too harsh. I don't know why I, like...
Doodle
For some reason, I'm all kinds of, like, antsy right now. I think it's because I've been sitting for too long.
Okay.
I'm going to rest my little head.
We're in a podcast right now. We're almost done.
We're almost done. Jesus, let's just... Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's that.
that's,
I just support, if you're listening.
Support your kids if you're doing.
Support your kid in whatever they want to do, even if it's like you can't afford to get the instrument. Like.
And support is not just
financial.
Like so, like and support is not saying like, oh, that kid's really good. Why don't you be more like that kid?
Yeah,
don't
it's not
compare your kid to somebody else. Be supportive in that whatever that is they're doing is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't put it in their heads that they have to be something.
Yeah.
Or that they're working towards somebody else's success. They're working towards their own success, and they're going to do what they're going to do.
And if their success rides off of, like, let's say, like, one of my aspirations, I want to play just as good as David Aaron Carpenter. That doesn't mean I want to be him. Mm-hmm. I just want to be able to play
as well
a Stradivari.
That would be awesome.
Ooh. But you like if their goals, if they have like a goal to like get to that level, that's one thing. Support that.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, no, you have to be Yo-Yo Ma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lay off a little bit.
Lay off a little sad.
Yo-Yo Ma took years to be Yo-Yo Ma.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because before him, there was...
One of the best videos I ever saw, like, growing up in music class was a video of Yo-Yo Ma. It's just saying, like, I hate practicing.
Oh, yes.
I hate practicing until I start practicing. And then I practice, and I'm in it. And then I'm done, and I practiced. So what I had to do was I had to teach myself to just start practicing.
Just do it.
Just do it. Nike. That was a good marketing campaign.
That's the check mark. I don't know if it comes out right.
Yeah, well, you know. So you guys want to do music recommendations?
Yes. We're gonna ladies first. Caitlin. I'm just kidding.
Fuck off.
Fuck, I forgot what mine was.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. What do you guys think?
That is my favorite song.
D or W?
I like D.
Okay, so my song.
Did you get it? Did you like that?
Did you like
I think
the
that was
joke?
the funniest thing I've said this podcast. Normally I'm way more on it, but like today I've just been lacking till now.
It's a chill day. It's a chill podcast day.
You know, it's been raining this week, so I feel
think
like
that must be what it
Yeah,
is.
that's why. It's been raining every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my song is called Don't Be Afraid, You're Already Dead
By who?
by Akron/Family. It's a sweet little song. It's very cute. It's the chorus is just like it's one of the most simplest songs I've ever listened to. And the chorus is just this guy singing Love is Simple. And it's really powerful. It's weird. Like it's like a song where like you go and you listen to it and like there's so much space and there's so much like emotion put into it, like individually in each track. That you're just like, I get the feeling of this song, but I can't describe
how you feel.
I don't have anything I could write on paper and say like this is why I like this song.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. And it's also very calming if you have like anxiety or something, you know. It's nice.
Cute.
Okay, so ladies first.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I have, I'll share one I listened to last night. I've had a fly infestation in my house, so I had a hard time sleeping last night. There's like these giant flies around everywhere, and we've had to put like, you know, like the little kill insect lamp around, and you hear it all night, like the bzzz, and the whole house smells like smoke, and it's bad. Like, I don't know what happened, but we must have a leak somewhere because we have flies. And so I was up till like 1 a.m. last night, and I happened upon this song called it's called Hallucinating by Elohim. It's got like 3 million views. It's not like terribly popular, but it's a cool song. It's like based around like it's very childlike, but childlike in a weird way, like in an off-putting way. It's just like the song just consists of like it's an auxiliary cadence just over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it features this little girl in a mansion who is like a super rich girl, but she's all alone. She's completely lonely. And then near like the middle of the music video, like this creepy, I'm assuming it's Elohim, like the artist, but she has like a lion mask on and she's in all black. And the song is about like, from what I gleaned from it, it's like that feeling of just like having everything you could ever want, but being so lonely, which was a cool concept to me. And you should watch the music video with the song because it's a really cool like thought concept, and there's all these random samples coming in like a mariachi band and like Elohim will just like scream at some parts, and it's like, but the whole song is just like a kid song. Like it just sounds like a music box.
That's
and
cool.
It was like a trip for me because it was like 1 a.m. and I was like, whoa, I'm hallucinating.
I love the songs that you listen to at like 2 a.m. and then you're just like, this is the perfect time to listen to this one weird song.
Yeah, right. Like I wouldn't hear myself listening to it because it's really repetitive, but like
because you were there.
It was right for that time.
Yeah. Also, speaking of mariachi bands, on Reddit, on the viola subreddit, somebody made this post that was like, is there any reason for a violist to study mariachi music? No comments, no likes. And just like every post.
Everybody's silent.
Everybody's like, what the fuck are you on? But,
Side note, I was gonna ask, if I bought you like a crown, can I call you the Lord of the Flies?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'd accept that.
Oh, cool. We have to kill
if
a
you didn't
pig,
read that
though.
book, then read the book, kids.
You have to
I
kill
guess
a
it's a
pig.
classic. I never read it.
You never
You
read
have
Lord of the
to.
Flies?
Oh my god, it's crazy.
Do they
Dude,
not require that in schools anymore?
I read it.
Everybody's
That
like,
shit
you
was
need to watch
insane.
Silence of the Lambs. And I'm like, what is that?
You've never seen Silence
Oh my
of-
god. Dude, that's a classic too. I love Silence of the Lambs.
Wow, okay. I love it. It's great, cute. So being that I'm Aaron and I am extra and I have this track record, I'm gonna continue my streak of multiple pieces. Because I like diversity in my music. Why? Because I'm really not someone who has like a genre. So it's hard for me to just say, yeah, just listen to this one. So here we go. One of my favorite artists, her name's Daniela Andrade. If I butchered your name, girl, sis, I love you. She actually has a lot of views on YouTube. She's a really good singer. Recently she had a song called Genesis come out, and I posted it on my Snapchat the other day, and because I love the vibe. It's very like chill. It's like raspy. It's really cool. So definitely listen to that. My other music recommendation of the week, I've been having an identity crisis for the viola because auditions are coming out in the couple of weeks, and not identity crisis. I've just been having a viola crisis because I just want to make sure that if I'm going to be really studying this instrument, I want to make sure I get into a good school, stuff like that. I mean, I have my eyes set on a certain school that we can't say, but we said the name already. But I mean, if I get into another university, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to figure out a good concerto because I've been recently working on the fake handle, concerto in B minor.
Yeah.
Great concerto. Actually, go ahead and listen to that as well. But recently this week, I found two really great, not this week, well, one concerto I found like a week ago, which I already started working on.
Oh, yeah.
And the second concerto I actually found like yesterday, because in my YouTube recommendations, they've just been like, hey, you would like this. And I'm like, you are recommending viola concertos to me? I didn't know. I'm like, I didn't even know we had more than 5.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
But the concerto, before I go into the one that I listened to yesterday, Forsyth, if you haven't heard the Cecile Forsyth viola concerto, fucking amazing.
It's very
oh
beautiful.
my gosh. In
It's also
G minor.
It's very Aaron.
Which is why I'm working on it, because, you know, it's going to be like my child.
I've never heard a melody line that I'm like, that's Aaron. Other than that one, I was like, that was written for Aaron.
It was. Like. I'm excited to play it.
Yeah.
But last night, William Walton has a viola concerto, and I listened to the version played by David Aaron Carpenter, one of my favorite violists. Shut up. My all-time favorite violist besides Patrick O'Neill and Matsumi Rostrad. But yeah, he played Walton's viola concerto, and I'm in love with the second movement, the Vivo in El Molto. I speak Spanish, but this is not Spanish. I think this is just Italian. Anyways, long story short, amazing movement. The concerto's fantastic, but if you ever listen to anything, listen to the second movement. It's another very Aaron movement. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I want to play it. If I don't play it now, I want to play it for like my senior recital.
Cool.
It's going to be there, and everyone's going to go. Thanks. Or we're going to record it.
You're all invited.
Thanks. You're all invited. But yeah, very good. It's just nice. I don't know. It's weird to say this, but like it's nice to hear viola repertoire.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as much as I shit on the viola too, like it's a good instrument, and I just feel like there's not a lot of music for it. Like you hear violin get all of the great classics, Bach, like everything, and it's just like viola's like you might get something 21st century.
I always hear this from my our viola teacher. She always says that like oh yeah, this concerto, because you guys keep stealing our concertos, and it's because she plays the
we
violin.
had this conversation.
Yeah, and I'm like, honey, no, we just don't have any.
Yeah, you guys are donating your
You guys
concertos
are
to us.
donating your
Everything we play now is like cello
It's written
repertoire.
for another instrument.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the arpeggione is written for the arpeggione, but
It's
we play
not
the viola.
technically a-
We
yeah.
do the Bach cello suites on the viola.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a really good music. You guys are going to definitely love it. Hopefully. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So, if you don't love it, well...
And also, if you want to think of going back to the, the John Lennon thing, and like how you can be so famous that everybody will have an opinion about you. I remembered halfway through saying that the Beatles were literally a song about that idea. It's called The Ballad of John and Yoko, and it's basically just like being really sassy about how everybody had an opinion of John Lennon and Yoko Ono's relationship. And it's great. It's a great song. It's very funny. Go listen to it.
Go listen to it, kids.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to wrap up episode 5 of Dictations. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We want to give a shout out this week to you guys for being so awesome, amazing. Don't forget to follow us on SoundCloud at Dictations, YouTube at Dictations the podcast, Facebook at
Like
Dictations.
us on Facebook.
You'll see
Like
us.
us on
We'll
Facebook.
post the links everywhere, like we do every week.
Send topics or comments,
Oh, yeah.
concerns, questions.
Any
to,
questions you guys might have, don't forget to send it to our email at
dictations@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Malta, sponsor us, and I'll start drinking you on the podcast again. Huh?
Could you
Yeah.
imagine we just get an email tomorrow that's just like, hey, I see your
I remember you said you wanted to drink us.
What does that mean?
Elaborate on that, like personally, or like?
No, but
I'm like, yeah, but first you gotta pay me money first.
Yeah,
bitch.
right.
But yeah, thanks you guys.
Y'all are so sweet. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for watching.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.